is just it, kind of just we call it a bog standard division. It's formed during the First World War, as I said. All draftees. It serves with great distinction in the Meuse-Argonne campaign. And they suffer very, very heavy casualties. But it's another one of these wartime creations. They're created for the war. War's over. They get disbanded. They become a reserve unit, and that's it. Because we've ended the war to end war, right? 20 years later, we come back and the Army has to reconstitute itself. So they take these old divisional numbers and they re-sign them again. 80th Division is just a draftee division. There's nothing special about it. It's just an ordinary infantry division. It goes through the training cycle that Marshall sets up, and it gets all the draftees. It trains a lot of guys who get stripped out and sent as replacements to other units, and then it finally arrives in France in August. It lands at Utah Beach, and it's activated with the Third Army. So it's now going to be part of Patton's Third Army. It's going to fight through Normandy so at Falaise, Avranches, Argentan, Patton's breakout into Brittany, all that stuff. The 80th is there, and the neat thing about it is Patton calls it it's a workhorse. So again, it's not sexy, it's not airborne, it's not regular army, it's not anything. It's just a draftee division. But Patton always has it at the point of the spear. So it's going to be, again, from August, it will be on the line. It's going to be fighting in the Sarre Basin, or getting ready to fight in the Sarre Basin at the end of it. And when it gets called up here, and because Patton has come to rely on it so heavily, it's advancing basically to the right of 4th Armored. So you've got 4th Armored on the left, 80th on the right, and 26th coming up behind it, and then there's another corps behind it. It's just kind of an example of what the States can kind of crank out when it has to. And again, I'll show you on the map in just a minute, but they're advancing from behind you in this direction. So that's the 80th axis of advance. And since it's such a magnificent view, I'm sure that's probably why they picked. I don't know if I say that.
Thank you, Chris. Morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Okay, as Chris said, this division was made up of mainly draftees, and my dad was one of those draftees. He was born in Winchester, Virginia, made the migration north as a young child with his family to Akron, Ohio, where factory jobs were plentiful. Graduates high school, goes to work at Goodyear. 19 years old, he got drafted and ended up doing his basic training in Indiana. The 80th Division did maneuvers out in the Mojave Desert, and I think down in the Cumberland Gap, and then they went up to New York City, ready to ship out to England. So they get to England. Patton's Third Army he's given Patton's given command of the Third Army, and in August, first week of August, they go across the channel to Normandy, as Chris said, landing at Utah Beach. So they fight their way across Normandy, and they end up right here on the southern edge of the bulge, where we stand right now. He was in the 305th Medical Battalion. He was a litter bearer, and farmed out to the 317th Regiment, and from what I've read, they were down in 317th was down in Wilkes, so that was probably his AO down there, area of operation, and fought with the 80th through the Battle of the Bulge into Germany. He ended up getting wounded in Germany on March 5th, 1945, bad enough that he got shipped back to the States. So, my dad, Harold Bucky Holliday, this is where he was, and thankfully he lived, because I get to stand here and tell the story that he couldn't tell.